Hello, good afternoon. Today we're going to make the second episode of composite materials. Here we have a composite material that we have designed. Here we have only epoxy resin made by this kind of resin, the one that you buy and it's like a syringe. This is the normal resin like that, like plain resin. And here we have the resin but mixed with aluminum dust. Out of a 60-61 aluminum, here we can see the aluminum dust, and we're going to put to the test both materials, the normal plain epoxy and the aluminum epoxy composite. The first test is going to be, here we have the normal resin. We're going to put this the resin between these two iron ingots, and we're going to let this iron rod fall into the epoxy resin. 3, 2, 1. As we can see, the epoxy resin, the normal epoxy resin, it's shattered into pieces. So now we're going to do the test to the aluminum resin. Now we are going to test the epoxy resin with the aluminum compound. The same test, we're going to let this rod fall into the test. 3, 2, 1. It was obvious that the composite that we made was going to break even more than the normal resin because the composite ended up being a lot harder than the normal resin. So we are going to make kind of a hardness test by trying to sew these both materials. The first test is going to be with the normal plain epoxy. As we can see, the saw is entering it's like butter, just because it's a resin. It's a little bit hard to sew it, but it ended up making this indentation, a cut, as you want to call it. Now we're going to try the harder composite that we made. If we try to sew it, you can also hear it that it's harder. The saw doesn't want to get into the composite. It's a lot more harder. As you can see, with the same applied force, we can only do that to the composite. And also, if you hit them into the table, the iron table, a steel table, you can hear the difference. This plain epoxy, a little bit soft, and when we hit the composite, very hard. So we can conclude that the aluminum matrix was gave a lot of hardness to our composite, and it can have different applications. That applications can be studied into the future. Thank you for watching.